companies.
Okay, let's move on with our next speaker. I welcome Katarina de Brisis. She is from Norway. She is the Deputy Director General at the Ministry of Government Administration and Reform, and she is also in the ECP Steering Board. And she is responsible for things like covering digital content and reuse of public sector data, digital competences, and cloud strategies. So please give us a view from Norway.
Thank you. Sorry for the mess. I have a couple of slides. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this distinguished panel. This session is about enabling trust in cloud computing, and I will speak maybe from an outsider's perspective. Norway is sort of associated member, but not quite in the European Union, but we are definitely a part of Europe. And we are definitely looking to what Europe is doing and want to be part of that. But to begin with, what is really trust? And this is a very difficult proposition often because many people do not have the same definition of this notion. For citizens and for businesses, it was already stated, trust in my mind is something that flows from repeated usage and no problem. That is an experience in the business world. I have some agreements with some company. They do a job for me. They do a job well. They have good customer relationship with me. And there is no problem. I get my performance, and then I trust them. That's because they prove to have a good track record. And for businesses, this may be the same kind of proposition, but especially for smaller ones, for bigger ones, maybe other issues. For the public sector, this is a more formal requirement that will be needed. Then, when we talk about security as a part of trust, we often tend to focus, at least in governments, because we are so focused on the personal data protection regulations, on confidentiality. But if you look at the really business case for using cloud computing, actually the biggest worry you will have will maybe not be the confidentiality, but the availability. That is that my service actually is delivered. It is running. Of course, data need to be confidential and they need to be accessed by those who are authorized to do so and nobody else. But they also have to keep their integrity and authenticity, and they have to be available. So all the three aspects of what data security is are equally important and maybe weighed differently depending on the case. For us, and also maybe for SMEs or business enterprises who use cloud services, the main issues which are pertaining to trust are what will be exit strategies and costs for us. If I suddenly decide, well, I don't want to use that supplier, I want to move my stuff somewhere else, I want to take it out of the cloud, how much will that cost me? How much hassle will that be? Will I lose data? Data quality, will the supplier actually keep my data intact and process them according to rules? What transaction latency will I have? I need a response time of milliseconds. Will I get it always? That actually are the issues when I'm using a cloud that affect my trust. If this doesn't work, I will not trust this provider. They can say we are certified from here to there on confidentiality of data and complying with regulation, this and that. But if they don't work for me, I will not trust them. That's the simple idea. Trying to approach this from this other point of view, it's more like a business point of view than maybe the inherent security point of view. I'll say a few words what we have been doing in the Nordic region. Actually, all Nordic countries, including Norway, have been working for a year or so on how to realize the potential of cloud computing in the Nordic region. And we have produced some kind of best practice information and communications on what benefits of cloud computing are. Because one of the also biggest barriers is knowledge. Even if we have certified cloud services, we have encryption and we have secure IDs, if they don't know that they are there, they will not be used. So that's actually a very simple thing, but it needs to be done. We need to share awareness of that. So we have done this best practice exercises, and then we now publish in a few days, if it's not already there, a legal guide that sort of tries to look at the whole picture, and there are issues of applicable laws, responsibilities, risk analysis, and contracts. And in Norway, for example, we have a very pragmatic approach. Our data protection authority has accepted that some municipalities in Norway use cloud, although for simple office functions, mail, calendars, scheduling, so forth. But as long as they meet legal obligations flowing from our implementation of Personal Data Protection Directive, which is quite similar in all Nordic countries. We think like we cannot create really a digital fortress in Europe. That's not the way to go forward. The way to go forward is to have secure services being offered, preferably by European companies. If they were there and are competitive, we will choose them. If they use all these encryption technologies, signature technologies are certified, we will use them as long as they can provide the service, which is stable. So where to go from here? We have to work to remove barriers to cloud computing, clarify, remove legal barriers. We need to support standardization, and it has been said from the Commission that there is a lot of standards there. The standard mapping exercise has been done, but there are some areas where standards are lacking, and that should maybe bring us to propose mandates, for example, for portability of cloud platforms, including security solutions. And encourage member states to develop national cloud computing strategies and clarify approaches to international providers. That's what we have been trying to do in our guide, which is to be published soon. So that will be my initial few words. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. You have said that municipalities in Norway are using Google or Microsoft cloud services. Do you still feel comfortable with this after Snowden, to bring in the magic word of the day after the revelations of the NSA spying?
Nobody has brought us any information that they stopped using those services. So we had a national debate, of course, as any country. But in the end, we have to say, I mean, this thing has been going on many years, and will be going on. And we need to focus on what actually is our risk analysis. If I do a risk analysis of some municipality's email, well, is the biggest risk that some NSA will sort of dig into it very thoroughly? We don't think so, but maybe we are naive. But
have you looked for alternatives in Europe, other services?
Those municipalities, no, I don't think so. I don't think they've done. But we have national alternatives. There is a Norwegian supplier called Yota Cloud, and they got a lot of customers after Snowden.
Okay.
So I don't know what customers, if they were public or businesses.
Okay. Let's thank you.